Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Bryce Underwood, Michigan, an opportunity for a bounce back performance on the offensive side of the football against Central Michigan. And look, for us Michigan fans, we're going to sit on our couches and watch this Michigan offense Saturday afternoon and say, hey, if they go up and put 40 plus points up on the board, does that mean our Michigan offense is fixed? No, probably not. But there are certain things, there are certain players we can look for in this football game that give us confidence that this offense is going in the right direction. What are those things? That's what we're going to get into before we get all nitty gritty, talk about some players and talk about some concepts. I want to start with this. I think you got to figure out a way to get Bryce Underwood back looking and playing like he did against New Mexico. Now, was it the cleanest offense we've ever seen against New Mexico? No, it probably was not. But what we did see is Bryce Underwood, number one, having a lot of fun. But number two, he was out there making some high level throws. And I felt like week two against Oklahoma, Michigan had the leash on him. Or for better terms, had training wheels on this offense, weren't really asking Bryce Underwood to do a ton from a difference making level standpoint. And you make no mistake about it, when Sherrone Moore brought Bryce Underwood to Michigan, the expectation was, number one, he's going to start year one, but number two, be a difference maker immediately year one as a starting quarterback. He can't do that if you don't give him the opportunity to do so. And more importantly than that, you need him to learn, hey, what throws can I get away with? What throws can't I get away with? And I'm okay with him having some freshman mistakes at home against Central Michigan and learning, hey, what can I do? What can I do? This is the perfect opportunity to kind of test and push the limits of what Bryce Underwood can do with this Michigan offense. Go out there and die on the sword is the best way to say it, right? Let this kid go out, make mistakes, but also make some plays. That's to me the best way you can get the best out of Bryce Underwood as 2025 goes on. Fired up to get into some more nitty gritty conversations before we do, and as always, the Michigan fans, appreciate you guys. It's been a roller coaster the last 12 months with this program. There's not a program I love talking more about. The amount of support the Michigan fans have shown the boys through the highs, through the lows, been amazing. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. I want to start with, I think the clearest thing that was a real struggle against Oklahoma. The ball was just not getting out. And it's kind of funny because you look at that game and say, hey, we thought we'd have an emphasis on getting the ball out quick on the road against Oklahoma. Bryce Underwood on the road playing Oklahoma, average time to throw of 2.8 seconds. Compare that to what it was against New Mexico, it was 2.2 seconds. Thought Chip Lindsey did a really good job week one, giving some easy access throws and some easy answers to Bryce at quarterback week one against New Mexico that we just did not have week two against Oklahoma. And I guess my biggest takeaway is there's got to be some more concepts in this offense that allow Bryce Underwood to be out on time accurately, that don't just involve simple bubble screens and simple perimeter stuff, right? That was a problem against Oklahoma. We kept trying to go back to the screens and they just clearly weren't working. It's a very hard defense to throw screens on because of how fast their second and third level defenders are. They're flying downhill, closing space really quickly. If you're Chip Lindsey, what are some other ways that we can get the ball out quick and build some rhythm with this passing attack that are a little bit more creative than just running some screens to the outside? That's number one. Because again, when that ball was out quick and on time, that's when Bryce Underwood really started thriving as a quarterback week one against New Mexico. Number two, man, this was a freaking disaster. Yards after the catch. The most frustrating part about it is this is what Chip Lindsey excelled at North Carolina. Like some wide splits, creating some space and finding unique ways to get his playmakers the ball in space and let them work after the catch. We didn't see that week two against Oklahoma. You go back to the New Mexico game and say we had over 150 yards after the catch in that week one performance. We had 60 against Oklahoma week two. That is one of the most important things that I look at from an offensive coordinator. One of the reasons why I was a fan of the Chip Lindsey hire going back to the offseason, hey, this guy knows how to get his playmakers involved in space. Saturday night in Norman, it seemed like we reverted back to that 2024 offense with a lot of two tight end sets, a lot of condensed formations and concepts that are not very conducive to manufacturing space. Hey, you got a quarterback that can make the throws to the boundary, that can push the ball down the field. Why are we running so many condensed sets? Look, I get it. Back in 2024, when we had Davis Warren throwing the football, I get having some condensed looks because he's not a guy that can access the boundary in the deeper third the way Bryce can. But when you have a quarterback that can spray the football all around the yard, access every blade of grass in the football field, why not spread this offense out and generate a little bit more space? Gets a hell of a lot easier to get your playmakers involved in space after the catch. Would like to see us get back to that a little bit more against Central Michigan. Number 3, big deal here. Run game efficiency. Not been great. You look at that game against Oklahoma, if you take away that 75-yard run from Justice Haynes, Michigan, they had 31 carries for 71 yards, 2.3 yards per carry. And the big storyline there is we're getting behind the chains routinely because the run game is really struggling. You look at Michigan on third down, it's 3 of 14. That is nowhere near good enough. Well, why was Michigan having so much trouble converting on third downs? We averaged a 3rd and 8 on the road against Oklahoma. When you envision a 3rd and 8 on the road in Norman, Oklahoma, hey, who's the play caller that's getting aggressive? It ain't Chip Lindsey. It's going to be Brent Venables in that Oklahoma defense. If you're staying in those 3rd and manageable situations, those 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 situations, you have the opportunity to be an aggressor as a play caller, not Brent Venables in that Oklahoma defense. We said this was going to be a really big deal for Michigan's success in 2025. And look, one thing we've learned, Justice Haynes is a dude. Like, he's a guy that can give you hard yards. If you block it up for him, he's going to make some plays with the football in his hands. Got to do a better job staying on schedule on the offensive side of the football. Then all of a sudden, those third down conversions start piling up a little bit more. On the defense side of the football, there's not, I don't want to be all that critical of what we saw from this Michigan defense because I thought there was a lot of good. There was just some simple, like, hey, we got to bring some ball. When we have the opportunities to create negative plays on a quarterback like John Mateer, you better capitalize or you're going to get burned, right? The most disappointing aspect of the performance from the Michigan defense was really 2 things. Number 1 was the lack of success that we had getting off the field on third downs. Michigan, or Oklahoma, I should say, was 9 of 17 converting on third downs. Kept a lot of drives alive that resulted in points, right? And that was a problem for Wink Martindale and Michigan last year too. That needs to get cleaned up if this Michigan team wants to compete for a college football playoff spot. Number 2, pass rush with the front 4. That this should be a strength for this Michigan defense. Anytime you're talking about a guy like Demo, you're talking about a guy like TJ Moore, talking about a guy like Dom Nichols, Nate Marshall's going to provide some juice in the pass rush as well. Michigan should not be as reliant on blitzing the quarterback as Michigan had to get to in the second half. And I get it. I think Michigan was kind of focused on, hey, offense is struggling. We got to try to create some plays on the defense side of the football. I get it. But when Michigan did just go with Russian 4, it wasn't getting home as much as we would expect. Something that made that Michigan defense so good late in 2024 is their ability to stop the run with light boxes and get pressure on the quarterback with 4. We have to find that ability to do so 2025 as well. Got to have a couple more interior defensive linemen that can be disruptive in the pass rush. And I think, quite frankly, hey, Demo and TJ Guy just have to have bigger influences on a football game as well. The difference, and I'll continue to say this, you got a quarterback that can allow you to do a lot of things on offense. And I truly think we have an offensive coordinator who is a bright mind that knows how to develop quarterbacks and knows how to scheme up an offense. Last year, we were dead in the water, right? We knew about after that Texas game. It's like we just don't have enough juice on offense to really be an offense that can score against good teams. I think we have that kind of juice. Look, is the offensive line as good as we would like? Not sure, right? I think it's going to get better with the bodies that we're bringing in. I don't know if it's quite there yet. Are the wide receivers as good as we want? Not sure. Still think it needs to get better. But we know we have a quarterback and we got an offensive coordinator who can dial it up. There's reason to believe this offense gets better. The conversations are how much better does this offense get? And hopefully we see some steps against Central Michigan week 3. Close it out there. We'll recap the game, talk about what we saw. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.